No taxation without representation. You remember that slogan from the American Revolution, right? But did you know that there is one group of American citizens today that still pays all U.S. taxes, including federal income tax, without voting representation in Congress? Who's that? Citizens who live in Washington, D.C., the nation's capital. How did that happen? To answer that, you have to go back in history to when the Constitution was written in 1787. In Article 1, Congress is given the power to establish the nation's capital, a district no larger than 10 square miles. The framers did this because just a few years earlier, unpaid soldiers had threatened to attack Congress when it was meeting in Philadelphia, and state and local officials refused to help. Congress needed to control its own hometown. So by 1800, Congress had built a new capital, over which it had sole power, on land donated by the states of Maryland and Virginia on the banks of the Potomac River. This area, called the District of Columbia, had several towns, but the largest was named Washington, after the first president. In 1847, Congress gave back the Virginia portion of the district, leaving only the Maryland side. Eventually, the city of Washington grew so large that it took up all of the District of Columbia. As the size of the federal government increased, especially during World War II, even more people moved to Washington. By the 1960 census, D.C. had a larger population than 11 states. So Congress proposed the 23rd Amendment. And when the states ratified it in 1961, citizens in Washington, D.C. finally had a voice in presidential elections, but no votes in the House of Representatives or the Senate. The United States is the only nation in the world where the residents of its capital city do not have full voting rights. As of the 2020 census, the D.C. population dropped to about 700,000, but it's still bigger than 2 states. In comparison, Puerto Rico, a U.S. territory that does not pay full income taxes, has a population of 3.3 million. Some Americans think D.C. should become its own state, so its residents can have full voting rights. Others say that the private property in D.C. should be given back to Maryland, leaving a much smaller federal district. Still, others think the privilege of living in the nation's capital should be worth the sacrifices. What do you think? How should the voting rights of the citizens of Washington, D.C. be protected?